Welcome back to the Wacky Wonderful Wiseworks podcast. All you guys, gals, geeks, and goofballs. Episode 400.
Yes, sir.
We made it.
And
we made it.
And I added a slide just to kind of, give you a little tease for the episode 400. I don't know if you remember this. I saw it was 400 and I'm like, yeah, let me take a screenshot of something for you.
I look exactly the same.
You look like Beetlejuice, my guy.
Hey, Beetlejuice.
You've been wearing that Beetlejuice shirt.
Look, people like this. People like the movie, right? What do you want me to say? People
It's
like the
really
movie.
washed out. It's like really green, color grading, be crazy here.
Yeah, but I didn't have any true color monitors. I didn't know what my colors were. It didn't look too green to me at the time.
It's fine. The monitors that we were actually using to edit all these videos, the podcast, I have them in my spare room as like it's like the laundry room where we keep all our storage.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming her because it's not her fault, but my wife was trying to get something off the shelf and I hear a huge crash in the other room and I came in and she had accidentally dropped it on the monitor and it shattered.
No.
Yep.
Wait, dropped what on the monitor?
Like a heavy item. I'm not sure. It's
Dang
fine.
it.
We haven't used those monitors in a bit though. It's okay.
Dang it, man. Waste of a good monitor. Anyways, well, not a good color monitor.
No, it's okay. So you want to have anything to say before we get into the topics?
No, other than hey, if you were here early on, thank you.
Yeah.
If you've heard about us for a while and you every so often tune in to the podcast, if you listen to us on Spotify or any other audio platform, my goodness, thank you, because we put so much effort into YouTube, but there's like a whole group of people, not a large group, but there's people that tune in to audio only platforms. And so I just want to say thanks.
I also want to say one thing. I want to ask something of you. I don't want to ask a lot, but I want to ask a little bit. We've been talking off podcast, off video about wanting to go over and do some live streams, maybe on the TikToks to promote some of our stuff. But TikTok has made some updates to where you have to have 1,000 followers to do that. Now,
that's not the only updates they've made recently, my guy.
Not the only. They've made a lot. But that's one of the main things to get our live streams over there. So if you want to see us live stream over there, go to TikTok. It's Wisework Entertainment, I'm pretty sure, or Wiseworks. You'll find us. And we've only got like 100 and something followers over there. 150, I think.
We need 1,000 just to stream.
Get us to 1,000. I'm begging you over there, because I personally have been putting in a lot of work on that account, and we've gotten a lot of views. We've gotten over 100,000 at this point, 100,000 and quite a few thousand likes. Just no follows because nobody follows. Yeah. Counts.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the unfortunate thing about the internet is people tend to not do CTAs very well. You know what I mean? CTAs meaning call to actions.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask people to do something, everybody weighs the effort.
Well, everybody's asking.
And everybody's asking them to do stuff. So if you say hit the like button, they're more likely to do that, but there's a lot of people that still won't.
Mm-hmm.
If you say leave YouTube and follow us somewhere else, whew,
if you're on the TikTok,
nobody will do that,
because I know you're on it a lot. You be scrolling during your lunch break at work. You're scrolling right before bed. Just scroll over, type in a few letters, hit follow, and get us to over 1,000. And that will be great.
You just really want to live stream over on TikTok.
Oh, I'm banking on it because I've been putting in a lot of work. I edited this weekend alone. I edited 5 shorts. This in the past 2 days. specifically not just like using like softwares like Opus Clips and things to create content exclusively for that platform, so people can start following us there.
Right. Okay.
But that's not our topic. That was just something real quick.
What is our topic?
So we got really kind of two things that I want to talk about today.
Okay.
But kind of our main topic that we have two segments on, it's spooky season.
Ooh.
It's, since we're not coming out with an episode next week, it's spooky week. We're going to say it's spooky week. And what comes with spooky week? That's a question.
Horror movies.
Yes.
All right. Do you want to control the slides for this episode?
Yeah,
So
I'll control them.
All right.
To kind of tee this up and start our clip for this episode. Maybe I shouldn't have acknowledged it. So me and my wife were watching the first Purge movie because it's scary. It's a great time. It holds up for what it is, and it's spooky, and it's a fun time. And right. I was thinking about it while we're watching because my wife loves horror movies, thrillers. She loves all of them. Me, not so much. I get spooked out. I have nightmares.
I get spooked. You have nightmares.
I'm a little kid when it comes to them. So I'm going to ask the question, why do we love it so much? Why do we want to be the pants scared off of us? Why do we want to watch a demon possession movie? Why do we want to see a movie?
Well, some people don't. Some people don't want to watch
Some people don't. But some people want to see that. Some people want to see a girl coming out of a TV screen. Some people want to see Bruce Willis as a ghost. Oops, I spoiled it. Some people want to see a 12-hour day where all crime is legal, including murder. And we just enjoy that. Why do we love it so much? That's the first question.
All right. Do you want me to answer?
Yeah, that's the point of this segment. Go ahead.
Pretty sure I know.
Okay.
We need our adrenaline up to feel alive.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That's it. It's as simple as that. People are looking for anything to get their adrenaline up. There is not necessarily something that people, okay, you could be a complete psycho, but people don't typically like to see graphic, scary things and just like feel like, yes, this is nice. I enjoy this. No, the point of it is you don't enjoy it. It's disturbing. It's frightening. It causes your heart to beat. It causes you to feel insecure in your seat, right? But people enjoy that because it's the same reason why people bungee jump, right? People are looking for
the thrill.
The thrill, man. And it's as simple as that. Why do we love it? It's because certain people in our society enjoy the thrill. And the best way to do that with the cinema genre is to access the scaredy cat nerve. You know what I mean?
We do have the cat in us. We all got the cat in us.
Yeah, yeah.
Just like some of us have the dog. But I would agree. It's kind of interesting to kind of look at it from that perspective, and you can kind of go back to the 80s or even before the 80s when we were having scary movies like Steven Spielberg, Jaws. It's scary, but it's more of the unknown scary, that's what you want to call it. It's the camera following through the water, and it's like, is there a shark? Is there not a shark? And then it's like dun dun dun, the anticipation of it all. And then now they try to recreate something like that with the Meg, but really it's just like they have to up the ante. So what do? They have the biggest shark that you could possibly have out there. And it's like they always have to up the ante a bit, where back in the day, they had kind of the similar movies that we have now, just it was more well done. The cinematography is a lot better.
Well, I wouldn't say necessarily that. I would say
not better. It's more they put you on your seat by not showing you things that you.
I think we're desensitized. I think we're just desensitized because if you watch Jaws now, right, it's a lot less scary than say The Conjuring. You know?
Sure.
It just is. With an audience for today, if you put both of those back to back, or let's just say Alien. put Alien today,
Mhm.
like Alien Romulus, next to Alien 1, what is going to be more scary, right? Alien Romulus is going to be more
Mhm.
scary because there's been new techniques. We've learned things. We show more stuff. And so it just, the newer stuff is going to be more scary. It may not be a better story. It may not be as interesting of characters, but it'll make you more scared, right?
Yeah.
Compared to the old ones.
Um, I've recently kind of been going back and watching some of the classics. We've done that with this podcast over the past couple of years. We watched, I think it was Halloween. Was that last year or was that 2 years ago?
It's like 2 years ago. Yeah.
2 years ago, we went and watched Halloween. We did a review on the Halloween timeline, and that was fun. The classic Halloween movie. This year, I got the opportunity. Yeah, that's right. Opportunity. Yeah, that's the right way of saying it. The opportune moment to watch Friday the 13th. Have you ever seen it?
I think so. It has been a long time. At least 8 years since I've seen that movie.
That's the one, the camp one that Psych has an episode Thursday the 13th where they go to the camp. It's very reminiscent of that.
It's got Jason in it. Friday the 13th is Jason.
Is it Jason? I guess, yeah, I think it is.
The dude with the ski mask, name is Jason.
Yes, I think so. I think that's right. That sounds
pretty
wrong
sure
for some reason, but yes, it's a good movie, and there's some very good jump scares. There's a lot of jump scares, including the end. Spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it. The end has got a great jump scare. Just don't go in the lake. I'm just letting you know. Don't go in the lake. So I'm going back and watching some of these classic scary movies, and they're fun. They're fun, but there's something there. Why do we love them so much? I don't know.
I just told you, it's the thrill, dude. You're returning for the thrill. You're returning for the new experience of fear, and it's a thrill. And it also informs you a little bit about yourself in that process, right? The point of getting a thrill is self-education. It's learning something about yourself. If you just watch like a mediocre, just good time, but kind of dull movie, you're just kind of turning your mind off. There's nothing you're really learning about yourself in that process. And you're kind of going on a journey of self-discovery with some of these thrilling or horror scary movies, man. You know?
Yeah.
And every one you pop on, you're opening up a new thing. So like, for example, for me, I have not even dared to open up the Jigsaw movies. You know what I mean?
The Saw movies? Oh.
It's not Saw. Saw is the... Oh, no. I'm thinking of them differently. Saw, yes. I haven't even begun...
and Texas Chainsaw. Is that what you're thinking of?
Yeah, I'm getting those two confused. I haven't watched Texas Chainsaw. I don't really care to that one yet. But I've been curious about the Saw movies, but I have not even considered to turn it on yet because I'm not ready to access it. You know, like I'm not ready for that. And so no, I don't think... I think you're learning stuff about yourself as you go through these genres of scary films.
Yeah. Is there any scary movie specifically that you would like? I don't know why this popped in my head. It just did. The Star Wars shirt you're wearing makes me think of this. Would you like to see a Star Wars horror movie, or like what would be a subgenre kind of? This kind of leaks into our next topic a little bit, but that something that does not have a horror aspect to it be brought into the horror world.
I mean, Star Wars is an intriguing one. I wouldn't trust Disney to do it, obviously.
No, not Disney.
But the theory of a Star Wars horror story might be pretty fun, but it does kind of fly in the face of what Star Wars kind of represents. Yeah. It's like sort of a family-friendly story, in a galaxy far, far away to present the ideas of good overcoming evil, even in perilous odds. And it's difficult to present, to like change the genre for one story to make it horror. You could go horror, but it's kind of a weird switch.
Yeah. I want to go to the next topic, but I maybe structured our slides a little weird here. I put the Patreon first next, but can we just like skip over that, go to the next topic, and then we'll come back to the Patreon between our things. So ignore this real quick. Horror subgenres. I wanted to talk about that too. Like, you have your demon possession, you have your thrillers, you have your more like serial killers.
You sent me a website that has them all here. Should I pull it up?
Yeah. That's why I sent you this website.
Gotcha. Okay. Subgenres of horror films explained. You got demonic, paranormal, monster, slasher, zombie, gore, witchcraft, vampire, psychological, and comedic. Okay. So you got the subgenres of horror. And I guess this article explains them all. This might be an interesting read.
Yeah, we could go into some of them. We can take some bulk time to go to each individual one, but I would like to kind of pick out some movies that we can think of that have these subgenres too, like psychological. Right off the bat, what do you think of with psychological?
Everything M. Night Shyamalan.
Sure, I'm instantly going to The Shining. The Shining is like the ultimate classic psychological for me.
Yeah. And I think on some level, I think we tend to put thrillers into the category of psychological horror, but it still kind of is horror. So like Silence of the Lambs, I kind of put that in psychological horror, Silence of the Lambs is psychological horror.
Did they have slasher? It's kind of a slasher slash. I say slasher slash serial killer because that feels like a category in itself on top of slasher. It is
serial killer is not one of them. Serial killer is not a subgenre.
It would be under slasher.
Okay.
It would be under slasher, but I'm kind of calling that its own subcategory of a category, because it is a serial killer, and so psychological serial killer. So it kind of is too. Oh, that's fun. They're throwing multiple categories in there.
Yeah. All right. So let's go through some of these. Demon possession, sometimes thought of as supernatural horror, this subgenre plays into the unknown of the human experience. Demons have been part of historical storytelling for centuries. They represent evil in many forms, including mythical, religious, and supernatural. One of the most known demonic movies examples of all time is William Friedkin's 1973 movie, The Exorcist, of course.
Have you seen the original Exorcist?
I actually haven't. I actually have not.
That is actually the only Exorcist movie I've seen, because I've watched a few, like The Conjuring and The Babadook, and
I've watched all of the Conjuring universe movies.
I've seen a few of them, and I was like, they're all the same. I don't like demon possession. But then I dabbled with the first Exorcist only because I was like, it's a classic. It's got a great soundtrack, and I want to see the original concept to it, because it had that nothing.
So much controversy behind it.
Controversy, but also like it was an original idea. It wasn't like, all the demon possession movies kind of are mocking or like going off of what they already have, what we've seen on cinema. Maybe there's something a little bit new, but it's kind of they're recreating what we've already seen a little bit. And that movie was the original movie that kind of started all of that. Started kind of the demon possession horrors, right? Yes.
And a lot of the horror in general tropes that we see in most horror films today.
Yeah.
Paranormal. All right. So this is kind of where you have to distinguish between the two. Paranormal horror is closely related to the demonic subgenre in that it focuses on characters who aren't living beings. Spirits and ghosts spook viewers
Yes.
and create fear
Paranormal activity.
without a physical presence on screen. For example, furniture moves without any touching, or a chill passes through the air out of nowhere. So some of these is The Conjuring, Paranormal Activity.
Yeah, ghosts versus demons.
Yeah, but The Conjuring is the same thing as The Exorcist. It's a demon. Yeah. So I don't agree with The Conjuring. Maybe things like The Babadook. No, is The Babadook?
No,
Is that a paranormal?
I would consider that demon possession.
Oh, I got it. Okay. Paranormal would be
Ghosts.
Yeah, anything ghost related.
Ghost versus demon.
Which the demons usually become physical. So like, okay, did you watch the movie Smile?
No.
Okay. It's pretty intense.
Mm-hmm.
That is got to be demon possession because it's all physical, and it's got to be it's literally, it possesses in order to fulfill its deeds, right?
Mm-hmm.
Paranormal means it doesn't always have to be physical to fulfill its deeds. So they're saying if they're presenting it as like it can move things around or whatever, then it's kind of more paranormal without it being a possession demon, right?
Yes.
So I don't know, but they mix them. Like The Conjuring is a mixture of demon possession and paranormal, right?
Yes.
Like it's got to be. Okay, let's go on to Monster. I believe this is Wyatt's favorite for sure.
Oh yeah, but I think Wyatt. Go ahead and read it, and then I'll get into it.
Vampires, aliens, and giant sea creatures are all antagonists in the monster movie genre. Unlike their supernatural counterparts, monsters can wreak havoc on a community of people in one fell swoop. Monsters terrorize and kill whatever is in their path and use their strength and size to destroy. Universal Studios popularized the monster genre in Hollywood from the 1930s and 50s with Frankenstein's Dracula.
Yeah.
Frankenstein, Dracula, The Creature of the Black Lagoon, and many other iconic monsters. Jaws is also a monster movie.
Yeah. I think there can be, so this goes back to kind of subcategories, because yes, vampires, Godzilla, werewolf movies, they're all monster. Then I think there is maybe a Krampus. Krampus is a monster. Krampus. How do you pronounce it?
Krampus.
Krampus. The Cramp Man.
It's the Christmas monster.
That has some aspects of like, I don't know if you call it paranormal. Not really, but maybe paranormal / monster.
Okay.
Where
there's no possession in that one.
There's no possession, but it's almost like it has a mystery legend to it, kind of.
That's like the Babadook, right?
Yes.
It's the same thing as the Babadook. It's like it's almost like a physical demon creature, right? It's like a physical demon monster in some capacity, right?
Yeah. I would agree with Wyatt. Monsters and probably the next category, slasher, is probably my favorite. I like slasher, but I enjoy a good werewolf movie. Me and Wyatt for a while on the podcast were going and watching a lot of werewolf movies to kind of, get our fix on the full moon experience.
Slasher movies focus on villains who are human. Slasher villains are usually serial killers and typically have a high body count by the end of the movie. So they stalk their victims and brutally murder the film's protagonists and anyone who gets in their way.
Mm-hmm.
Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, Jason.
Yeah.
See, I told you, Jason Voorhees, better known as Jason, are iconic slasher villains in horror film history.
Or like Stepfather. I think that's what it's called. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. That's a classic. There's it's serial killer.
Are there any new slasher films that are like this Halloween season? You know what I mean?
I can't think of any, but they're always redoing the same ones, like Jason. No, Michael Myers. They're always doing Michael Myers, a new Halloween movie. Like there's been like 4 Halloween ends, or the final Halloween, or there's been so many of those. I swear, what's her name? She's in Freaky Friday. Jamie Lee Curtis. Jamie Lee Curtis makes all her money from Freaky Friday and Halloween movies.
Halloween, for sure. She's been in like almost all the Halloween movies.
Yeah, and then she like guest stars in like a NCIS once in a while.
There is a new horror film that I was interested in the trailer for it. I think it's called Cuckoo. I don't know that. Okay, C-U-C-K.
There is a really good werewolf movie that I saw a trailer for when I went and saw Joker 2.
Okay. And then I've heard that Long Legs is pretty popular right now. There's a couple.
And there's also a lot of, I would say the slasher can have, I wouldn't consider this as horror in the horror genre, but there's a lot of murder mystery slasher movies / shows that's out there. Like I would even consider like Red John from The Mentalist as a serial killer
slasher. Killer,
because like something like that.
Hold on. There's a difference. So there's a difference between a serial killer cop show and a serial killer slasher film. Like it's two separate
There's
things.
Murder mystery, slasher.
Murder mystery.
And then slasher movie.
No. There is slasher films and there are cop murder mysteries. Serial killers can be in both of them.
Yeah.
But the difference is how the story is told and what tropes and what styles it uses to tell that story, right?
Yeah.
So, like, you can make a cop investigation slasher film.
One's focusing on the cops and one is focused on the victim being stalked by the serial killer. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's not even about that. It's about the vibe. It's about the vibe of that's being approached. What would you call
Seven, the show Seven? Because it's about Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt, 2 cops, 2 detectives looking for a serial killer who is all of his victims kind of follow the 7 deadly sins.
I put it in psychological horror. Yeah, psychological horror is what Seven is.
Okay. You're right. That wouldn't be a slasher. Technically, it would, but maybe not. No.
It's not. It's a psychological horror film,
psychological.
But it is not a slasher horror film, even though it is dealing with a serial killer. Again, you can figure it out by thinking about all the tropes and the vibe of the movies that slasher films do exist.
Yeah.
Like look at the Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, Jason. That kind of like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Those are slasher films. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The next one, zombies. I would consider that a monster.
So let's see what they have to say. All right. Zombie movies cross multiple horror genres. 1 part monster movie, 1 part possession. Zombie thrillers make a perfect cocktail of terror. Somehow, they are the most difficult villain to kill off and just keep coming back for more. These corpse-like characters are cannibalistic by nature and can affect the victims. Yeah. Walking Dead. Okay.
zombie movie would be the White Russian of cocktails.
Maybe. I think there's also an aspect of so for example, I think zombie hits a I'm going to go out on a limb, okay?
Okay. Just don't break
Zombie
yourself. Don't break the limb.
Okay, then I might not go that far out on the limb.
Just
Zombie
tiptoe a
genres
little
can
bit.
go further past actual zombies on screen. So obviously, I Am Legend is a zombie, right?
Yeah.
They are not technically zombies, but they are zombies. So it's a
They're
zombie style
infected.
subgenre.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I think that mass brainlessness murdering, it would be considered zombie subgenre. So this is where the branch might break.
Okay.
A Quiet Place, okay?
Yeah. That's monster.
It is monster first,
Okay.
but it has a zombie vibe to it. All right? So it is a
Where are you getting
large
that?
scale.
Because
So what I'm saying, it
the monsters
looks like
in
the freaking
Quiet
branch broke.
A Quiet Place, those monsters can't infect you because the zombies are infection.
Well, I
monsters.
think it's yes. There is a level of infection worry there, but more so you're just worried about being eaten when it comes to zombies. I think
okay.
that the nature of a large mass threat. So
Mhm.
there is something that is taking over the world, and you are on a survival mission against it, right? To
Yes.
stay away from it, to protect yourself from it. I think that comes from the zombie genre. All
Okay.
right. You hit things like A Quiet Place, where it is on the face a monster movie, a monster horror.
Yep.
But with the fact that it is a mass monster horror type of film, it kind of falls into the horde zombie genre as well, the horde threat. You know what I mean? So I think there's some. It's a monster film, but I think there's some zombie elements there as well. I mean, that's how I define it, and that's how I see it. Would you agree on some capacity with that?
I
It's
caught about half of that.
There's not an individual threat. It is you could kill one. The threat is the fact that there's so many you can't kill them all, right?
Oh, okay.
It's just a matter of escaping.
So
right?
but I wouldn't call that a zombie.
I think it's a zombie trope.
I would
It's a
say
zombie
it's
trope.
a monster. I would almost call it its own thing. It's the monster subcategory, but it's the
with a zombie approach, man.
over a population of monster. No, that wouldn't be the right way of saying it.
You're trying to.
Same. We're both trying to say something.
It is a monster film with a zombie base. That's what I think.
Sure.
I think it is a zombie base turned into a monster. So instead of a mass of humanoid dead people trying to kill you, they made a mass of monsters trying to kill you. All right? That's what it is. So I think it's presented as a monster film, but it is kind of zombie in nature.
Okay.
Let's go to gore. All right.
We skipped one. Yeah.
Also known as the splatter genre, gore is all about the portrayal of graphic violence. Blood, guts, and body trauma are classic elements in gore movies. Films in the gore category rely heavily on special effects to disfigure body parts. Ugh. New filmmakers can experiment with effects and get creative with theatrical makeup.
I'm trying to think of the most graphic, bloody movie I've watched recently. What's the one Wyatt really likes to watch with Monster? No, I got to look this up. Keep reading, and I'm going to look this up.
I was just going to say, so examples are The Evil Dead and Cabin Fever. This is it's sort of slasher, but slashers tend to be a little bit mild on the gore of things.
The Thing.
The Thing.
The
Okay.
Thing has so much gore in it. I don't think it's in the category of gore, but because it's monster, but it has so much gore in it that I would put it in that category also, kind of.
Honestly, gore, I actually kind of stay away from. I'm not a big fan of the gore. And I actually have a whole thought about this. You want me to get into it?
Let me say this and then you can't. Gore can be kind of cheesy sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. I also am, so this is kind of getting into like my personal opinions, all right?
Okay.
And personal belief system. So I am pretty sensitive as to the nature in which a Hollywood film approaches a movie. All right. So I have certain standards on things that I'm like, I don't want to see that. I'd prefer it not to be there, or I just avoid it completely. Right. So when it comes to gore, the unnecessary violence. All right. So, okay, here's an example that I did watch that I wish I hadn't. Okay. So Cocaine Bear. Did you watch that?
I dabbled with it. I think it was on here and there. I don't remember it being that gory because I just kind of had it on in the background. I don't remember watching all
Cocaine Bear was so incredibly graphic. It was definitely a comedy gore kind of thing.
Okay. So that puts it in the comedy.
Yeah, it puts it in the comedy category, but it was gore 100%. I'm not a big fan of that because when it comes to horror films, in this specific category is I'm not a fan of making light of the destruction of the human body. If you are telling an engaging story where the characters either attempting to, or the story is going to allow for the person who basically justice to be found in the story, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then I'm more accepting of violence. But I do not like the glorification of the destruction of the human body. If it motivates something, okay. If it's just there because we're just trying to make the most graphic gore possible, I don't care for that. And that's something that you kind of know it when you see it. Like Cocaine Bear, I saw it and I was like, oh, this is what I don't like. You know what I mean? This is what I think is I have an issue with. So that's the gore genre is, for me personally, something I tend to stay away from. And if I see it, I will most likely turn it off. That's how I feel about it.
Makes sense. Witchcraft, Disney, just basically Disney.
Okay, so witchcraft have a long history of mischief in folklore. Mischief is a pretty light way to put it. They use the power of magic to cast spells on their victims, turning them into all kinds of tortured beings. Similar to the paranormal genre, witchcraft uses supernatural elements to create fear. Movies like The Witch and Suspiria are great examples of terror caused by witches. I think Yellow Jackets has an element of that, but it's not really witches. All right,
the show
it's
Yellow
witchcraft.
Jackets?
Yeah, the show Yellow Jackets. It's more about like witchcraft than it is witches. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, and there's like the whole. It's like they combine like a mythical monster that the monster represents with kind of witchcraft and different stuff. I haven't seen as many of these, like horror witch films. Have you seen very many of these?
Not films specifically, but I think there is an aspect where like vampires and werewolves and witches, they like to mix together in a lot of things, where it first starts off with one of them like werewolves or vampires, and then it kind of, as the longer you're watching it, you realize there's like witches and the other monsters in it, and it kind of all blends together. Even like for example, like Vampire Diaries, that show, it's vampires, but there's werewolves and there's all other kind of things in it.
I just Googled it. So like Hereditary is pretty creepy. I didn't watch that one, but that one got a lot of praise for how scary it is. I'd be interested in watching Hereditary. That was like a witch horror. The Blair Witch Project. All right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That seems kind of demon possession, but I don't know.
We just have psychological and one more, correct?
Vampire. English literature popularized vampire stories, which were basically just ghost stories of the dead returning to haunt the living. It wasn't until the slow burn success of Dracula that helped launch vampire stories into the mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
There's been countless low budget Dracula movies throughout the years, including Horror of Dracula, The Bride of Dracula, Dracula's Dog. One of the more successful vampire movies besides the Twilight series is Neil Jordan's adaptation of 1976 novel Interview with a Vampire. A young Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt played vampires. So, vampire. And did you watch that one show on Netflix? Was it Black Mass?
The one season show.
Yeah.
I peeked at it here and there as Wyatt was watching it. I watched full episodes, but I didn't catch the whole season. I do know what you're talking about.
Midnight Mass.
I watched it with Wyatt.
That was so good. Like, you want to talk about vampire horror series? Mm-hmm. Midnight Mass on Netflix is really good. Like, you should check out Midnight Mass, especially if you're a fan of like vampire stuff. Like, Midnight Mass was really good. You should watch it.
Yes.
Hard recommendation. You don't even realize it's a zombie movie until you.
Well, if we're recommending, I'm recommending Warm Bodies. I know it's not vampires. It's
good.
So I'm
Warm
kidding.
Bodies.
I'm
Warm
kidding.
Bodies. All right, we actually have two more. We have psychological and comedic. Psychological horror is not about what we see on screen, but how it makes us feel. The genre plays tricks on the viewer's mind to create paranoia.
Like, we kind of already talked about it a little bit. The Shining.
Everything M. Night Shyamalan. Yeah.
Yes, but I would only call that, wouldn't call that horror genre. I would call that more suspenseful, because like
they're putting it in the horror genre, saying it's suspenseful. That's a way to describe it. But the category is psychological horror.
Sure. I'll give him a pass here.
A pass. I think it's what it is. Psychological horror is suspense, right? So I think almost everything M. Night Shyamalan has done is psychological horror. We kind of already talked about it some with the Conjuring stuff, so we can move on. Comedic. So comedic horror is possibly the most fun of all horror movies
Warm
out
Bodies.
there. It's a subgenre that is equally fun as it is scary. It takes the viewers...
Scary movie.
It takes the viewer to complete opposite ends of the horror spectrum, resulting in a roller coaster of emotions. Classic examples of the comedy horror films include Scream, Shaun of the Dead, Shaun?
No, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
And The Cabin in the Woods. So I've actually wanted... That's another thing I haven't watched. I wanted to watch Scream.
So Have
you watched any of the Screams?
It's one of the Screams, but I have seen Cabin in the Woods. It's Cabin in the Woods is like they take all of it and put all the tropes together to make one horror thing, and so that's what Cabin in the Woods is. I would agree.
The Scream that you watched, were you laughing at when you watched Scream?
No, it was kind of scary to me. But I also get scared at these things, so you know.
Okay, I think Cocaine Bear again falls into that, but it's also gore and comedy, and I think the only reason it fell into gore horror and not just a straight up comedy is because they included gore in it. It's meant to be a comedy movie, but they included really graphic gore, so now it's in the horror genre, you know?
Yeah. Kit, let us know what's your favorite subcategory of horror and what movies are you going to be watching this spooky season?
I'm going to watch the Screams. I'm going to watch all of the Screams is what I'm going to do.
He's coming to all of them. There's a lot of them. But
there's like 8, I think.
That's a lot. Well, Joseph's going to watch Scream. Let us know in the comments what you guys are going to be watching this spooky season. You got anything planned out? I know last Halloween I watched The Shining for the first time. It was enjoyable. I liked it. Hey, can you thank the Patreon? I'm going to go get something real quick, and I will be back before our next category. Our next topic.
I will thank the patron.
I'll be right back.
Hey, thank you, Cynthia, for being a member over on Patreon. Cynthia has been a member supporting us over there for a while now, and she gets exclusive stuff like the pre-show that we record. It's exclusively for the patrons and members over on YouTube if you prefer to join a channel rather than going to Patreon. And it stays exclusive, that pre-show. Also, podcasts early, okay? Also, exclusive watch parties and much, much more. It's super cheap. It's only $3.99 a month, both on Patreon and on memberships. It's cheaper than a cup of coffee, and that's what Cynthia pays, and she gets her personal shout-outs in the podcast, as well as her name in the credits of not just the podcast, but every video on the YouTube channel, the Rumble channel, wherever we put out our videos, your name is in the credits of that content. So if you want to be like, hey, I want to support these guys, I want some of their stuff, but I also just want to believe in them, right? And just throw a couple bucks each month their way. You can go over to Patreon or on YouTube. You can hit the join button on the YouTube channel. It's only $3.99 a month. It's pretty close to free. It's cheaper than Starbucks coffee, right?
Yes, sir.
It's cheaper than Starbucks, than one Starbucks coffee. And thank you, Cynthia, for being a member. Really appreciate it.
And you know what the Patreon is cheaper than? It is cheaper than the new thing that just got announced.
Oh, what is this new thing? There's a lot of new stuff.
A lot of new stuff. Let's go to the next category.
Oh,
we
I
got
heard about
ourselves.
this.
They just announced this week, well, 2 weeks ago when this comes out, Elon Musk
Oh boy.
announced you're living iRobot. Get yourself a living iRobot.
Thought he called it C3PO. I heard him call it.
It's just a Tesla bot. It's just a Tesla bot. I'm pretty sure.
I know, but I heard him say like it's like a personal C3PO. That's what I heard him say.
Yes.
Okay.
But it is.
If you're on audio only, all right, don't stop the podcast. Just minimize whatever playing you're on audio. Let it keep rolling and Google Tesla robot now.
Yeah, sure. That works.
Just so you could get a feel for what this thing looks like.
So I've got a couple videos I want to share, but he literally just straight up, they had an expo for Tesla and they showed us self-driving taxis, which are just the self-driving cars in iRobot. And then they also showed us self-driving buses that are in iRobot. And then straight up gave us our own personal autonomous, is that, am I saying that right?
Autonomous. Yeah, I think.
Robot that you are going to be able to buy for somewhere between $20,000 and $30,000. You'll have your own personal made robot within like 2 to 3 years. They'll have these released.
Okay.
The only reason why they're going to take 2 to 3 years is because they have to mass produce and they have to get over some laws. Like there's like 2 states, like Texas and one other thing that has
Funny because Tesla is in Texas.
Yes, they have laws that don't that there's not restrictions in those states for the laws that they have to get around to sell us these things, but you're gonna have your own personal robot. I mean, everybody has the opportunity. I just wanted to throw this out because I thought this was funny. This is the guy that in the movie iRobot that created it.
Versus Elon Musk. Elon Musk is wearing his leather jacket.
I have some
Very
videos
different.
of now. I have a lot to say, and you probably are going to have some things to say in the comments. Put them all in the comments. We want to hear it. We've been talking about it. Everybody's been talking about this, but I'm going to show some of the videos that I sent you. Did you watch these already? I sent you.
No, I didn't. I figured you were going to. First off, I was leaving for a camp out, so I didn't watch them. And second of all, I knew you were going to put this in the podcast, so I just didn't watch it.
Optimus.
People here today.
It's insane. It's even talking.
Say hi to my friend John. John? Where's John?
Right here.
Oh, hello, John.
How are you? It's crazy. I'm talking to a robot. From San Jose. Probably from where you were born in Silicon Valley.
Wonderful. Where do you live in San Jose? Do you live in Almond Valley or do you live in Santa Teresa area?
No, I live in Los Gatos.
Los Gatos. Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
Where do you live?
Well, hiking I hear out there.
There is. Where do you live?
I live in Palo Alto at the current moment.
Figures. Yeah, this is awesome.
That's where they train us, that's where we get our builds, and that's where we work with a wonderful group of people.
What's the hardest thing about being a robot?
Trying to learn how to be as human as you guys are. And that's something I try harder to do every day, and I hope that you will help us become that way.
Well, awesome. Nice to meet you, Optimus.
You as well.
That's crazy, man.
That is crazy.
They programmed stuttering and all that kind of stuff.
So coming out now, these videos got released, and then now they're coming out saying that there was human assistance with these robots, but I don't think they were humans like helping them out a little bit, but I don't think they were helping them out that much. The robots were mostly doing it mainly themselves.
Okay. So you think that whole conversation was just straight up
I think
human?
that whole conversation was straight from the robot. And
okay, straight up robot. Okay.
the other two have conversations with
All right.
it too, and they sound very interesting.
All right, let's play the next one.
Want to get a photo?
Yeah, for sure. Let's do it. Little video. Hey. Sweet. Thanks, man. Bro. Appreciate it.
Of course, anytime.
All right.
How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing?
Tremendous.
Doing
good.
good. Peace, everybody.
How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Nice.
I love the chains. How's everybody doing?
Doing good. All right.
Then step right up.
Can I have a watermelon fogarita?
A watermelon?
Yeah.
Of course you can.
Hey, what's up?
I mean, they're slow, but that makes sense.
But they're doing it, dude.
They're doing it.
How am I doing so far?
Killing it.
So much.
Oh,
Here you go.
thanks, Optimus. Appreciate
Of
it.
course, anytime.
Yo. So
Optimus is what
they've
they've called.
programmed like personality traits into this.
That's crazy. They seem so different from what I expected them to be too.
well, yeah, because every film has labeled them as a like really introspective, very human like,
Yeah.
or just straight up robot. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
this is like a dude, like a lighthearted dude, like someone that you just kind of hang out with. You know what I mean? Which is nuts, man. They've programmed him to be kind of very human-like and not like in a weird introspective way, but just like casual.
Like the one said, what's the hardest thing you do? He's like, me trying to figure out how to be more like you guys every day. And it's like, what the heck?
But he like started, he's like trying to figure out what he was going to say.
Yeah.
The same way that people do. Let's see what this one's like. Hold on, this third one.
How you doing?
What's up?
Hey, buddy, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
It's nice to meet you.
Might be the
Nice
first.
to meet you.
What's your name?
I'm Optimus.
Okay. My name is Tony.
Tony?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Tony.
Nice to meet you too, buddy. Hey, can you
Awesome.
can you play basketball? Can you shoot like jump shots?
Maybe one day.
I'll teach
Can
you.
you?
I'll teach you.
Really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank
man.
you, Tony.
Thank you, brother.
Much appreciated.
All right.
Thank you,
man.
Tony.
You like Balenciaga? I got an outfit for you.
Really?
Yeah, I got an outfit for you.
Awesome. That's cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm about to order you. Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna order you, and then I'll see you in another couple months. Okay.
So he's talking to
great.
2 Chainz.
Yeah.
And so some of these robots, we're good ways into the podcast. I'll just say it. Some of these, you know, like when you kind of have a conversation with someone who's on the spectrum, you know what I mean?
Yes, but they're robots that are
Kind of
learning.
similar.
So I watched a video where Elon Musk talked about the technology for these things. And essentially what he was saying is the same technology that is in the Tesla vehicles are what's in these robots. It is a software that can figure out its own mistakes. So let's say the car is driving, it makes a wrong turn and gets into a crash. Next time it's going to learn, don't make that turn because this will happen. So if you do X, this bad thing will happen. So it learns, don't do X, do this. So it'll readjust itself. And I think that's the type of technology that's in these robots where it has to figure out its mistakes. When it makes a mistake, it's like, no, I can't do that. Let's not do that next time. And
Right.
I think that's how they're doing it. Now, like I said, this was a presentation of these robots, the first time people are really seeing them. So there was a little bit of human assistance with them. But I think that's only like the Tesla presentation, the thing that they had for them. If Elon Musk is saying they will be out in like a year or 2, then clearly they're ready to not have human assistance at all. They just it's the same thing as like when he got and threw a rock at the Cybertruck and it shattered.
Mhm.
And then now you see Cybertrucks all the time and you can throw rocks at them and they're fine. They fix those bugs and they're just very minor things. So
Yeah.
it's crazy that we're seeing this, and I don't even know what to think because a lot of people, all I'm hearing from people is, I'm scared. This is crazy. But I'm like, it's not that crazy in a way, but it is crazy because we already use a lot of technology and we use the internet. We use, we have so much technology already. And so,
a humanoid robot is not that much
it's
different.
not that much different.
Besides the fact that it could come up and smack you in the face.
Yes. But also, like,
so
a vehicle you could lose control of a vehicle and that could hit somebody. That's
Yeah.
the same thing. I think everybody's very scared because of things like iRobot, where they started to take over the world.
well, Hollywood's been
Yes,
conditioning
they've
us
been
to be afraid.
conditioning us that way for years. And so I don't know what we'll see. But on top of these robots, I think that is the thing that's wowing me the most. But they did also release self-driving cars with no steering wheel. There will be no steering wheel in these cars that they're going to be releasing.
Mhm.
They are going to be like self-driving taxis, and you can buy one and when you're not using it, have it just let it loose and it'll start picking people up. Like you can have an Uber app and say, start using the Uber app, and you'll make a side hustle with your car when you're not needing it yourself to get to and from work. And
Right.
so I'm I'm predicting there will be companies that have fleets of these cyber taxis, and it'll almost be like right now, Uber kind of took over the taxi game because people can do it on an individual basis and they don't have to work for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
This self-driving taxi and you being able to do it, people can buy multiple cars and have fleets of them, to where I think the taxi concept will come back to where someone owns, 10 of these things and they're driving for them all the time.
Yeah, it's going to be a new way for a stream of income for people who want who want to invest and manage that kind of type of thing in the same way that people rent out homes, right? So like you're saying, there's it says that the robots are Elon expects the robots to be in households by 2027. So in 3 years.
Yes.
But I will say this. Unless they can get that price tag down,
20,000.
Look, it doesn't seem like a lot for a robot, but we're talking about people who struggle to buy a $10,000 car, and a car is an everyday necessity.
Yeah, but if we're talking,
and what's the shelf life? Okay. What's the miles on a robot? You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true. But think of it like this: if you have your own company where you are building widgets. I hate people who use the widget analogy, but I'm about to. You have to make 20 widgets a day to make X amount of money. You're paying a human $50,000 a year to make these widgets, come in and work full-time, a salary of $50,000 to make these widgets. But you can have a robot maybe make half the amount that a human can make, but it's only $20,000. You're going to pay for that robot in a year with a salary of someone's income. If they don't put laws up in place when these robots come out where they can't do certain jobs, which I'm sure they probably will start making laws like that. Mm-hmm. We'll see what they do. I think right now they're just marketing them as like doing your everyday chores, making you food, watering your plants. There's advertisements where it shows them watering your plants.
Cleaning your dishes.
Yeah, cleaning your dishes, vacuuming your floor, type things. I don't think right now they're expecting them to be building cars for us or anything like that. Because I don't think they're smart enough to know all the ins and outs of like technology and all that. But if they can get better fast, who knows what they can do in 2030.
It's going to be like the Creator movie, dude.
Yeah.
Did you watch Creator?
Yeah, we went and watched it together.
No, we didn't. I was in Florida. We watched it and talked about it on the podcast. Yeah.
I'm thinking of me and Wyatt. I watched it with Wyatt.
Yeah. It's going to be like the Creator, man. And I hope we don't have a war with these things, but they're going to be a part of society probably. They're going to take up space. And it's a fascinating future we're stepping into. It's no longer a galaxy far, far away, and it's no longer, a distant time. It's like freaking right now, dude. Like 2027. The other day, they had one talking to 2 Chainz. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like rich people are going to be like, yeah, I have 20, 30 grand to spend on what I want. I want to try out a Tesla robot. It's going to be in someone's home doing daily chores in 3 years. Now, with all that said, it is very possible that they launch this and then videos start going viral of a robot that had an error and has just been watering the same plant for like 3 days straight. You know what I mean? There's going to be videos that pop up, and maybe a lot or maybe just a couple, but there's going to be some bumps for sure.
Yeah, bump.
There's going to be some pretty big bumps in the road, especially initially with these robots.
I have a lot to say, but also not anything to say because I don't know what to say, and I guess it's just we'll see. because we can't stop
We'll
it. We can't stop it at this point.
Do we want to stop it? Is this kind of cool?
I don't want to stop it. I don't personally. That's crazy.
I'm more willing to stop artificial intelligence, and I know this is tied to AI, but robots that are programmed to do stuff that you can't really have a robot without AI. So I don't know, dude. It's a big question mark.
Yeah.
I'm super curious. I'm a little nervous, but I'm more curious than I am nervous, which we'll say that. If Wyatt was here, he would be like, kill them all. Kill them now.
Yeah. We're the optimistic side of the podcast, and the person that doesn't want this is not here tonight. So yeah,
Wyatt would be like, we got to kill them. We got to get rid of them while we still can. That's what he would be saying.
It's so crazy though. Like, I know we're trying to talk about this as like an iRobot stance because it's an entertainment podcast, but I want to talk about Elon Musk for a second. He's got X now. He's got cars,
Tesla.
Transportation. He's got the robots. He's got medical, where he's starting to do the what's the chip in the brain? What do you call that? The
Neuralink.
He's got space.
It's AI, and with that, it's all AI. Grok. AI that is under his, and then he's got SpaceX, dude.
He is trying to touch every category of like the only thing that he's
the future. He's ushering the future by himself.
Yes.
And he's not doing it in a way that's just like building on the norms. He's trying to take a 50, 70-year leap all at once.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because he's not like, let's go do it. He's like grabbing somebody by a shirt collar and pulling them with him. He's like, we're going, let's go type thing.
But the weird thing is, like, all of society through the whole industrial revolution, through the whole technological advancement, the information age, it has been steps, right? So it has been, let's not do something really futuristic yet. Let's take one small step. So like EVs, electric vehicles, right?
Yeah.
You got Tesla that's really far out there and futuristic, but EVs in the rest of the world, in the rest of the realm of like Ford EVs, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They just look like regular cars. Like, they try to make small jumps. So an electric vehicle, but it kind of looks and feels like a gas vehicle, right?
Yeah.
He's not doing that. He's like, no, we're going to go straight from the gas-powered engine to robots in your house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's not freaking wasting any time. He's like, let's make a jump that people aren't ready for, which is why he probably causes so much ruckus with his, we're not just going to go from gas to electric. We're going to go from gas to self-driving. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's making big jumps.
He's making huge steps, which is crazy. And it's also crazy, just like, I don't know. I don't want to speculate who Elon Musk is as a person, but he is also just a crazy individual, not including his technology. But
did you see him jumping up and down at that Trump rally? He was showing his belly button.
I didn't see him jumping. I saw him on stage talking about Trump, though.
When he announced him, he was jumping up and down. He had his he's showing his belly off, got his hands in the air, shirt hiked up. It was fun.
I don't know. I mean, people can probably speculate who we kind of vote for and who we're going with.
I haven't said a dang thing.
But I'm just saying, I don't really want to talk about that on this YouTube.
All right. I was just talking about Elon Musk. I wasn't talking about any political thing.
Yeah.
No, don't jump on my butt about that.
No. Well, it's not that hard. I mean, it's pretty big.
Shut up, man.
That's all I have for this podcast. Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about specifically?
Thanks so much for joining us on the podcast this week. Really appreciate it. Tune in all week long on YouTube and Rumble and different platforms for more videos, and we'll have another podcast in 2 weeks. So thanks so much. We'll see you next time.